Hello, my name is Shannon Coleman. I was diagnosed with lobular carcinoma, ERPR positive, HER negative breast cancer. I have been a survivor for 2 years now. It was weird to hear those words, and I was processing it, but I took the initiative to tell my family. We had just lost my sister the year prior. And so that was something that was very, very hard to do. And I text my family. That was the hardest thing I had to do because my nephews had just lost their mom. My nephew texts back and he said, Auntie, what does that mean? We can't lose you. And that in itself like broke me. Psychologically, my mind, it impacted me psychologically because my mind was all over the place. It was in the middle of the workday. It was 2 days before Christmas. We were just living life. I was just living life. Things had kind of calmed down from after losing my sister, but still the feelings were there. Psychologically, I hadn't processed it yet, to be honest. I just went through the motions. I contacted my supervisors. I contacted my manager, let them know what was going on because I knew at some point I was going to be out a lot. They said they supported me, and I just went through the motions. I still couldn't believe it. It wasn't until I had one of my first appointments and I walked out with this big huge binder and it said like cancer patient on it. And I was just like, okay, I'm a cancer patient now. And I still couldn't believe it. At some part of me couldn't process it. At that point, coming out of a traumatic experience with my sister, going into this, I just couldn't believe it. Like I was still emotionally numb. The role and responsibility I assumed in my nephews' lives when I lost my sister was being that mother figure without being their mother. We were their guide. Me and my other older sister were their guide basically through life now. There was a lot of stuff that they needed to learn. They had to grow up very quick because we had to move them out of my sister's house and into my mommy's house. So everything was happening really, really fast. And in that process, I'm trying to process my feelings, trying to process their feelings, and just being there for them, like at questions about, taxes or, Auntie, how do we do this? Auntie, how do we do that? So I was that now mother figure. I really, really wanted to be there for them emotionally while I was trying to handle my own emotions of this diagnosis. I put my own feelings to the side during this cancer journey in order to be there for my nephews. I was more concerned with them than I was of myself. And that in itself is what strong Black women syndrome is, because we have to take care of everybody else first, and then we come in. So the shift happened of me picking up that self-care blanket after my surgery, my first surgery of 4 surgeries, when I couldn't do anything for myself. I had issues. I really had struggles trying to put that self-care blanket on. It took some of my tribe to just like, look, you need to and I mean, I was still trying to do stuff. I'm so used to taking care of everybody else. It was very, very hard to pull over that self-care blanket until that was all I had to do, basically. When I was in recovery and I couldn't do anything, my mommy was here taking care of me. That was a reality check, and it was very humbling. And that's when I had more time to process my emotions and what I was going through. But it was parallel to thinking about my nephew's emotion, because one of my nephews couldn't even come see me. He was just like, Auntie, I can't come see you like that. I understood. It was hurtful, but I got it because I would have loved to see his face. But I understood. I didn't pressure him at all. One of my nephews did come see me. He came and saw me like once, and he stood there for a minute, and then he left. That was very hard. If I knew then what I know now, I would say to myself what I'm actually telling everybody else who gets a breast cancer diagnosis, that it is going to be hard to pull on that self-care blanket, but it's necessary to pull on that self-care blanket in order to get through this journey, because I hit a wall during my recovery, because then it was for real. I was just like, oh my God, this is for real. Like, I am fighting cancer basically. And I had some nights where I couldn't even pray for myself. Hitting that emotional wall, I think, was harder than if I would have just submitted to my emotions, submitted to what I'm about to go through, submitted to the help a lot sooner than I was forced to submit to it. So I always tell people, like, get your tribe. We're your tribe. We're going to help you through this. It's going to be a emotional roller coaster that you have never in your life been on before. And that's what I was going through, this emotional roller coaster. Some days were good days, some days were bad days. Still to this day, even though I'm a survivor, I have good days and I have bad days, because now it's that post cancer journey, because it's always going to be a journey. I didn't grasp that at first. Like, I never grasped that. I just thought it was like a one and done surgery. I would be done with this and that's it. I never grasped the journey. So I always try to tell people it's a journey. There's going to be stuff that comes up unexpectedly that you're going to have to deal with. Talk to somebody along the way. It helps when you talk to somebody who's been through the journey, because they can relate like other people can't relate. And so I just tell them and try to show them that it's going to be an emotional roller coaster, basically. And that's what we are here for. When Reverend Tammy was giving me advice, some days I didn't even want to pick up the phone, because I felt like I said earlier, I thought it was like one and done. And so when Reverend Tammy would call, I would be like, oh man, something else. Like, I'm not done yet, you know? But Reverend Tammy was very helpful. She was very integral in helping my emotional journey. She gave me some tools that helped a lot, actually. Even though, yeah, she might have been getting on my last nerve sometime, but it's that tough love that she was also giving me off of years of experience that she has dealt with um, women time and time again, starting with herself through her journey, and then helping women and becoming this advocate for Black women and cancer. I think, yes, even though it was a lot to hear, it helped. It really did. Because when it happened, of the advisement that she was giving me, oh, that's what she was talking about. Okay, I get it now. But up front, when it was just advisement, sometimes I would be like, that ain't gonna happen. I don't know. She don't know. I don't know. This not gonna happen to me, right? But it did. Every single piece of advisement she gave me. Some days I just was like, I don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this, Lord. I don't want to do this. But you have to do it. And that's where your tribe comes in, because they're the ones that pick you up and make you say, nope, you have to do this. This is for the betterment. Because during my journey, I was ready to give up. I wanted to give up. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. Can we stop? Can we just stop? I don't want to play no more. But you have no choice. And that's what is emotionally draining as you're also trying to recover. Today, yes, I said that when I was going through it, it was an emotional roller coaster, but today it's still an emotional roller coaster, and the reason why I say that is because part of my roller coaster that I was writing during my journey was I would have a surgery, bounce back, felt like great, like, okay, I never had cancer and then I had to have another one. I bounced back again, back in the gym. I'm feeling normal again, like normal. And then, oh, here comes another surgery. This is the big one when I started my reconstruction. Each surgery just messed with my mind because each surgery I would bounce back. This last surgery I had just this year in January, I'm struggling bouncing back. And that is like messing with me mentally because I'm like, why can I bounce back like I did in the midst of all this other stuff? Like, am I losing my fight? Did I have more fight when I was like going through and said, I'm not going to let it defeat me? And now that I'm on the other side, I don't have as much fight. So right now, I'm trying to get my emotions together so I can bounce back again. But I feel like my body's not letting me, or it might be me psychologically doing it to myself. I don't know. But all as I know is that right now, I am struggling, bouncing back like I did during my cancer journey. The type of support I've been seeking out is therapy. I am actually in therapy. I've never, ever been in therapy, never thought it could help. But it's funny though, because now with my therapist, I had to relive all the traumatic experience I've had since my journey. She helped me to relive my journey so I could actually process it. I never knew that I really actually never processed my journey. So my therapist has actually taken me through all of that. And it's actually helped so much seeking therapy to help me to process and get my mental health back intact. One thing I would want to leave the Carrie's Touch community is, in the words of Oprah, feel your feel, then take the wheel. Because that is what a cancer journey is about. You have to sit in your feelings. You have to feel what you're going to feel. You have to let your emotions, you have to acknowledge your emotions, but then you have to fight. You have to take that will and fight. So that would be the one thing that I would leave the Carrie's Touch community. Feel the feel, then take the will, in the words of Oprah Winfrey.